Welcome to the Modular Clubhouse. My name is Jesper and this is the ARGON8M by Modal. So the ARGON8M is the little brother of the ARGON8 and the ARGON8X. Of course, both of those have a full-sized keyboard accompanying the actual module where it's built in. So the 8M is of course for people who already have a keyboard or a controller or whatever you want to call it. But that's the only difference there is. It's got the exact same 8-voice wavetable synthesizer built in. And in this video I want to show you back at home what you can do with it. So I won't go through all of the presets or all of the settings. I just want to take it easy and show you the bare necessities and let you listen and enjoy what you can do with this great synthesizer. I do have to thank Modal Electronics for making this unit available for me to test, but of course they had no say in the actual outcome of this video. Other than that, I would now say, well, hope you guys are enjoying yourselves. Sit down, relax, because here we go. So here we have the ARGON8M up close and personal. And what I want to do is I just quickly want to go over the actual interface here, and after that go into the ModalApp and show you what it can do. After that, go through some of the presets, not all of them, because well, even the patches alone have over, well, I think they've got exactly 300 preset patches with room for 200 additional personal patches that you can also save. So I'm not going to go over all of these, then we would still be here next week, I think. And I just want to give you a taste of how I use this synthesizer, what I love about it, and show you what I feel when I work with this. So first things first, let's start at the actual back. So what we have here is we've got your headphones output, your right output, your left output. That's also the one that you can use if you want to go mono, which I have to do because I only have a 2-channel input interface. You've got your expression pedal, your sustain pedal. You've got your audio in if you want to loop additional audio coming from another synthesizer or from something else that you want to use the effects for. You can just do that. You've got your sync out, sync in, MIDI out, MIDI in, USB, which also of course does USB MIDI, and your power inputs and a power switch, which I always like to see on these devices. Then the business side of things. So this is all laid out in very easy to grasp sections. So the first one is indeed, okay, well, how do you want to use this device? Do you want to use it in mono, in poly, unison 2, unison 4, unison 8, stack 2, stack 4, and back to mono? This is of course one of those settings that is stored within your preset patches as well. So the patch that we are currently using, which is the 0th patch, time to drift, is meant to be a poly preset. There you go. So you can do nice chords on that. If you do that in a mono one, independently of how many I strike, it will just play one, even though this is an 8-voice synthesizer. In poly, you can press 8 notes at the same time if you want, and then you've got your unison, a stack, just nice. Go back to poly. Then we come to the section that's all about the actual wave shapes that we're going to be using. So what you actually do is you get 2 wave shapes and you mix them together. So this is the first wave that we can play with. Go from a sine wave all the way to a saw, from a hexagonal shape, I would say. But you've got several banks there as well. So if I hold shift and I turn this knob, I can actually select which I want. So let's go with the peaks one and see what that looks like. So okay, this is quite nice. Let me just strike this. So that's something you can play with. Let me just turn this all the way to the left. So now the second wave doesn't even matter. It's only going to be the first one. I like this one. And then let's go over to the second one. Let me just turn the mix all the way to the right. And here we have this one. I can select a different bank for this one as well, but I'm just going to keep it at this. This is a nice sound. And then if you just put the mix in the center. You can also play with spread. And of course you can do things like glides. I'm not a big fan of glide, if you ask me, but that's just me. You can also set the audio in and the level for that. And then you get to your oscillator modulation, which is currently set to phase model modulation, or you can do ring modulation, and you can do so many different things here. So let's set it to ring modulation. Perfect. Okay, that's section one. I forgot about the LFOs that you have here as well. So those are the LFOs that you can then use within your effects and later on there as well. So you can select which one you want to be working with, LFO1, LFO2. You can select the rate for the LFOs, of course. You can set the depth, how deep you want them to have, and you can set the shape, of course. And you can set the actual mode. There you go. Next, we're getting into the filter, which is quite nice. So let's see if we can get a different patch to work with. I'm going to go to the transistor app, which is nice. And let's just turn the cutoff frequency. Almost a standard low pass filter, right? You can add some resonance to it. And you can also morph it. So go from a low pass filter to a high pass filter. Or to something in between. A band pass. It's nice and rich. Then we get to the effects part. So the first thing is, of course, distortion. And then you've got the first one, which is a rotary one. I can also change that, of course. If I want, I can just say I want to have that to be a ping pong delay. And then I can change the first parameter, the second parameter, third, all the way down to the sixth parameter, combining it with the shift key, of course. And you have that for the second and third effects as well. got your volume knob, but let's disregard that for now. Next up, we've got our envelopes. So you've got 3 envelopes: your filter, amplification, and modulation. So this is the filter for the filter envelope. I can just change that, of course. This one. Make something out of it, right? And then the modulation. Let's go to another patch. Fingers based. First thing I'm playing with here is the joystick, which is a really usable thing. It's free turn in, so that's going to help you with handling it. It's a nice, I think it's machined aluminium, I should say, and you've got your pitch bend, of course. And you've got all of the other modulations there that you can work with. And then you can get into the actual settings part here, which I'm just going to steer clear of now. What I would like to focus on is actually on the Modal app. You've seen the Modal app in my review from the CraftSynth 2.0, but it offers a real amount of wealth when you get into a more sophisticated synthesizer, like in this case the ARGON8M. So it's a very recognizable interface where you have your settings here, almost the exact same one that you have here. You've got your oscillators and your wave shapes you can play with, your filter, your envelopes there. You've got the other settings here, but here you also have detailed views, for instance, on all of your presets. So your presets for your patches, for your sequences, because yes, indeed, this synthesizer also carries within it a 512 step sequencer that you can just program in very easily. And you've got your 50 effects that you can use. And you can then, of course, shuffle these. Then over in modulation, you've got your overview, of course, what you can do with your joystick. Here you go. And of course what the actual thing is that it does. And you've got your effects here, your LFOs, everything else. And then in the effects one, you actually see what the actual effects are that you're using. Let me just go to a different patch here. Let's do this one. There you've got your sequencer settings. Let me just quickly run a sequence. So let's grab the one that belongs to this one, and we can just play that. quite lovely, isn't it? Then you've got your keyboard, and you can do some settings there as well, and even the in-depth settings. So this is just page 1, page 2. You can do all sorts of things here. So what I would like to do now is just go over some of the additional patches that we have, just to give you guys a listen to what it's capable of. You guys all know that I'm not a virtuoso, but I just enjoy playing with synthesizers. So it's got a very sci-fi feeling to it, but that's of course true for most wavetable synthesizers. But I truly enjoy playing with these. Some of them are designed to be specifically arpeggiators. Some of them are of course pads. You have a lot of things there. Tonight's the night. This has got a Dexter feeling to me. If you call something a joystick harp, I'm going to be playing with a joystick, of course. Bounce bass. That's something that would be quite at home in an early 2000s trance song, right? Rave piano. Yeah, that's nice. Perfect FM swells. These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise. Sorry. Argon piano. From a wavetable synthesizer, just listen to this. Beautiful, right? That's got quite a Daft Punk sound to it. I love that. Oh, this one, yeah. Oi. Just a detuning on that one. What the pluck? Nice. Oh, drone school. Yeah, baby. Take me to church. Nice. Quantum tinkle. Nice. This already sounds a bit like things that I make on my modular system. perfect. So as I mentioned, there is so much more I can do with this. I can go over all 300 presets, but I think that everyone got a gist of why I love this device. It's the versatility, it's the sheer expressiveness that you can create with this, because what I like to do is I just like to go over the presets and tweak with the settings a bit until it's exactly the sound that I want it to be. And that's of course one of the beauties of working with a wavetable synthesizer, is you've got all of this flexibility, and if you get some inspiration from the presets, you can then start changing it around right until you get to where you want it to be. So I truly love this, and I truly love the ARGON8M. So I would say, before I spend too much time with all of the other presets, which are crazy, they are just so great, I would say let's go back to the studio and let's wrap this up, shall we? Cheers. So I hope you enjoyed this video on the Modal Electronics ARGON8M. It was quite a journey for me to make this video, and I truly enjoyed it, but I would be lying if I wasn't a bit intimidated when I started working on the ARGON8M. It took me a couple of hours to really get into all of the intricacies and the nuances of this great wavetable synthesizer. But once I got the hang of it, it truly became one of my most favorite synthesizers. Not even necessarily just the wavetable ones, but it's just a great synthesizer to work with, and the ModalApp of course adds so much value to it and makes it that much more insightful and intuitive to work with. And for now I would actually say I have to thank Modal again for making this unit available to me, and I want to thank everyone for watching. And please, for those of you who haven't done so yet, please like and subscribe. That's going to help the channel tremendously, and there is also the link to the Discord down below, so please join that if you want, if you just want to drop in and say hi, or if you want to have a good discussion with me on the intricacies of life, or just synthesizers in general. Just drop in and join the conversation. For now I would say everyone stay safe, stay healthy, and I hope to see you next time. Cheers.